Welcome back, my little recusants, to another episode of Final Fantasy 13. We've just literally finished off in Erba. We fought Barthandalus and we have the gateway back to Cocoon to conclude with the next chapter. But our episode is going to start off with a little bit of backtracking. We are teleporting to Tenjins Tower, where we are going to do an awful lot of grinding on the Cieth Stone mission within Tenjins Tower, the Potent Sting. And that particular mission yields you with about 6,000 Crystarium points a go. You have maybe a latency of 10 seconds running from the encounter back to the Cieth Stone to reactivate it. And you get a guaranteed drop, along with other drops you might get from just defeating the enemies. But you get a guaranteed drop of a Moon Blossom Sigil. Or a Moon Blossom seed that you can sell for 6,000 to go. So what I failed to keep in was I kind of thought, oh, I'll do one of these other Cieth Stones. The Cieth Stone is at the apex and it asks you to play the elevator from the apex to the ground floor to basically summon this creature. And essentially we have to go to this other elevator summoned at the apex. When you ride it down, you end up on the 7th tier. We can fight a few enemies here, but once we activate this statue, we rearrange the tower itself into a way to basically go to any tier from the ground to the top. Now, I ended up losing the footage of all the grinding, or rather, I kind of ended up doing this in the midst of grinding, so it's a bit out of sync. But basically, I was just showing you guys, we have a lot more levels than we usually would. And basically, once we finish this particular fight, I do some more grinding and basically max out all the characters' Crystariums. At this point, which have now expanded as well. So we're seeing huge stat boosts. But now that we can reach the elevator, we need to basically run to the center, but go out this way. Don't go the way of the 7th tier back up again, because this lovely little treasure chest has a collector's catalogue. So that's a nice saving of 10,000 money. And as I say, this really is sort of a tidy up chapter. I kind of left this one in just to show you. I mean, while you're grinding in Tenjins Tower, you might as well do this little extra Cieth Stone. But what this is all in aid of, this particular episode, is all set up for a massive boss that is coming in 2 chapters' time. I want to say 2 chapters time, yeah. But basically we need to get the mark Neo Ochu. This mark is found with the Cieth Stone in Erba. The Cieth Stone in Erba is not going to be activatable because the locale of the Neo Ochu is in an area that you require Chocobos to access, and we have not completed the prerequisite missions to have the ability to ride Chocobos in the central expanse of Gran Pulse. And basically we're just watching the cutscene here. Sorry, I'll just cycle back to where we are now. But with the tower going from top to bottom, we have actually summoned this Cieth as a monster to fight. And he's quite tricky. He does what all these kind of guys do, full of horrible nasty debuffs. So we're going to try and debuff him and buff ourselves up with some faith here. But as you can see, Vanille's not casting, so he in fact does not have any Saboteur weaknesses. so that's not exactly great. And we're just trying to buff up here, but realistically Saboteur and Ravager, or even Saboteur and Medic, just to let us buff up that bit quicker and not get absolutely destroyed. Getting some bar lightnings, which is good, but moving lightning over into the Sentinel role, unique to her, not one of her typical ones, but watch Elude now, because she actually just dodges and evades attacks outright. So she's able to actually mitigate an awful lot of damage, and we can see here his weaknesses. He's immune to all status ailments, so that's where Saboteur was a poor choice on my part. But now with us all buffed up and with our lightning defense boosted, we can kind of go a bit more on the attack, and Hope has such high magic that, like, he'll look at this Curiosity Vanille, super high healing output there from Hope. So we are not doing too bad. The only problem is we need his stagger to be going up a lot faster, so let's try Disaster. And hopping over to Sentinel. The interesting thing is Sentinel and 2 medics is nearly better than triple medic, because you're getting the extra defense buff from the Sentinel. And now that we're just going to push a bit further on, we now have our Fiend weakened. But what you'll notice is, and I don't take full advantage of it, I should have stayed and tried Disaster, because he's actually resistant to magic, which Ruin is, but more vulnerable to magic damage. So look, a lot of foolish issues here. But as you can see, when the magic is being hit, we're getting 20,000, it's actually double the output. But yet I'm just like, oh, Ruin will just slow down the gauge, and it's not quite as simple as that, unfortunately. And we don't get 5 stars, but it's still a really good fight just to see what else you can fight in Tenjins Tower. But as I was saying, we basically have a situation where we need to go back to the central expanse of Gran Pulse and unlock Cieth Stone missions, finish them to unlock new missions in order to get the Chocobos, get the Chocobo reins, to allow us to then go back to Erba, activate the Neochu, and fight the Neochu with some very difficult strats you're not meant to face until the post game. But I'm going to show you guys how, and it's really cheesy, it's really luck based, but the reward and why I'm so like focused on being the Neochu is its hunt reward. So when you beat the Neochu for the first time and completing the hunt, completing the Cieth Stone, you get a growth egg, which is basically double EXP. And why not take that with us into all the mandatory fights and all the big, you know, boss fights that are going to give tons of CP as like milestones? Why not just double that? Especially when we've done so much grinding in Tenjins Tower to get our stats to the stage where they are now. And I think it's a good idea, because it means less forced grinding at the very end of the game. Not that you need to force me to grind, I literally love it. It's like one of my favourite pastimes, and it's one of the reasons why I love JRPGs in general. Just love getting those numbers higher and higher and higher. So 3 star, but like we know ourselves, what can we improve on? Have like even triple Synergist and then triple Ravager and then like Relentless Assault, but just keeping Ravager in that team to keep up the damage is basically where you're going to succeed at 5 stars much quicker. But after a bunch of grinding from me, we basically just use the Cieth Stone outside Tenjins Tower and teleport to base camp so we can skedaddle and try and find some of these other Cieth Stones that we haven't done. These are going to be earlier ones, mind. So, like, if you see certain ones opening up that are like mission 47, 30, whatever, like, don't go near them. They're not the vibe. We're looking for like number 7. Well, not number 7. We're specifically looking for anything after like 10. So 9 is also missing. So we're literally looking at this list and trying to basically go to different Cieth Stones and just fill in the missing numbers between 10 and 20. Because that's when we kind of get to Tenjins Tower and like we're kind of away from the Yaska Massif and everything else. So it's going to be a little hunt to go through our list here, but I'll basically show you where the stone is, where the mark is, and how the fights go. I'm not aiming for 5 stars here. I'm literally just trying to get the growth egg within as quick a few episodes as possible, and then we will dedicate ourselves to Cieth Stone hunting when we get to the post game. But right now I just don't want to start the last couple of fights without getting the growth egg, basically. I might as well have the growth egg as soon as I can, go through the end game, and up here by the lake area in the central expanse, use the map. You'll have a little star marking on it. It's not that tricky to find, so I'm just making prudent decisions to just cut to the chase, as it were. This guy is no different to any of the hounds we fought before. They're quick, they attack fast, and he does an awful lot of debuffs with his like kind of putrid breath attack. And obviously should have been using Libra, but I'm just thinking, there it is, because I'm watching the Ravager throw various spells and it's like, oh, it's healing him. We need to like get a grip here on what they're weak to. But at the very least, if we look up the different marks and then look up in the data log, we can just have a plan of action going into the fight beforehand on what we can do to get 5 stars even quicker. And obviously, the more powered up our paradigms are, our rolls are, the quicker this will be to tidy up in the end game. But yeah, just like all the other wolves, it's like, yeah, it's just pure. Ice is its worst nightmare. But unfortunately, its lightning attacks heal it. And we get really badly damaged. Oh.
Thank you.
And now we're going to elude. Come on, lightning. Go, girl. And with our medics healing up, we're going to just try and knock it into stagger and then launch it into the air. So come on, lightning. In the air we go. And now the battle's won, as is nearly always the time. But yeah, hope keep it juggled. Good man. Happy days. And game over. Mission 32 complete. And now we need to jump really far back to like the much earlier ones. I just saw that on the way over and I was like, I might as well collect it. And for our reward, we get a nice glass buckle and a 5 stars. So I was like, hey, we did that and we got through with 5 stars. Happy days. Now, mission number 9, Heave Ho. It's right by the entrance to when we come out of the base camp. So it's also a teleport one. Really useful to have. And he's literally just straight ahead of us. So just run straight ahead and you'll find the mark there. And he's a behemoth. We've fought loads of behemoths before. I was doing my best to try and like sneak around him. It didn't work, but he can definitely be preempted with a Deceptisol. So there's that. And keeping with Fang here, because in the interim we've upgraded a bunch of the people's weapons, and I have Fang's Venus Gospel. Basically it's the weapon that has the stagger lock. She's actually not able to reach stagger, but obviously if other characters end up knocking into stagger, it does her tons of good. But look at the damage. Like, Fang is just so strong strength wise with this weapon that she just does a crazy amount of damage. And once again, my bloody paradigms are not right. But she's easily doing like 13k and the stagger bar isn't even that high. Oh, and look at this. He's actually dispelling, so that's interesting. Never really seen a monster, let's say, do that. You know, maybe the Psycom enforcers and whatnot getting rid of our nice buffs, but thankfully bravery is still here. And I don't know why she's like throwing ruins when Fang's magic is not all that. But yeah, not our greatest showing. Definitely super simple with just Deceptisol and Relentless Assault. That would have been 5-starred immediately. But we get a nice transformation catalyst, so that is good. Also, just showing you a nice thing here. We can fight the little baby turtles, the turtles of death. So these guys stomp around, do AoE damage to everybody, but if you have a melee character, the fact that they're in the air means that you don't take damage with your leader. And obviously if you had snow and lightning, they could all jump up as commandos and actually save themselves an awful lot. Now, what you wouldn't have seen me use before is that Fang as a synergist has Protect Ra, and Vanille as a synergist has Shell Ra. So they're actually able to give incredibly powerful defensive buffs. They just don't last as long, unfortunately. But with all of that there, we can kind of go on the offensive. We now know that it's weak to ice, and we can just pepper it with ice spells. And really, so long as Fang's in the air, she'll be fine. But all you need to do is basically keep an eye out on your other two party members. Make sure they don't get too weak, and if they do, swap over to your Sentinel and Ravager. But these guys are great for getting gold dust, and they also drop transformation catalysts, which you can also sell if you don't particularly need them. And now that we've cured ourselves up a bit, let's hop back over and don't waste that stagger. Come on, paradigm change, let's go. And now that we're getting like Blizzagas and stuff, it's game over. Like, look at this damage. I also have upgraded Vanille's staff as well. So everyone really has tier 2 weapons. Hope, Fang, Vanille. And especially next episode, we're going to see even more characters get crazy amounts of weapon upgrades. Well, that's because we get crazy amounts of money. Now, this particular one is important. This is a Cieth Stone that really, for the early part of the game, is meant to be like nearly impossible. It's such a way it's giving you a big warning. You're probably going to find this incredibly difficult. At this point in the game, not so much. But basically, this particular Cieth Stone is locking out a part of the map, and we need to get to that map to find the Chocobos. So they're actually locked away here, and then once we release them, they start wandering around the plains. And then once we complete a few more missions, we're able to actually gain the Chocobos' respect, and they will allow us to ride them. So now, there you see it on the map, the little red star, up and around the corner. And as you go over there, you're going to see that like the whole area is completely different. It's shrouded in fog, and there's loads of Cieth everywhere as opposed to the little penguin gremlin guys. So literally just go to where the little star mentions. We're going to get a quick little cutscene, and on to fighting this great beast we go. This is one of those real tidy filler episodes. I know that. We've kind of completely stalled the story just to go on a big quest for an accessory. And unfortunately, it's just not one of those things of where you're like, oh, just do this one little quick thing and you get this really cool accessory. So unfortunately, we do have to kind of just play fast and loose with the chronology of things, and we're just like, and then you go to this mission, and then we go to this mission, and then we go to this mission. But I hope seeing a bunch of really cool combat is really good, and as I say, if you've been doing the grinding like I have, you will definitely not be left wanting. And yeah, this guy is really quick to stagger, so we definitely want to just buff up ourselves really quick. And once we kind of have Brave Rat and Faith Rat, Fang is going to be doing insane damage. Legitimately insane damage. Watch. Now just trying to get some de-shelling action. There we go. De-protect as well. And like we're doing so much damage he's not even staggered like. So let us see how this goes. Once we get him in the air. Or just continue to pepper him with magic. Like look at the HP bar. But look at how much damage he's taking and he's still alive. Like again, this was meant to be like something you maybe could face early on in the game, and even still we get 5 stars. So I hope you enjoyed that mission. We're probably never going to do it again, but we get a nice royal armlet, really good defensive accessory, and just like with Tenjins Tower, we end up with a similar shard of crystals shooting off into the abyss, foreshadowing for a later super boss. I don't know. But yeah, once we head down here, we end up finding the little Chocobos den. Then there's basically going to be a lovely cutscene. I'll let that play. And that's going to be our episode, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. Look forward to next episode because we are going to basically be activating the other Cieth Stones to ride Chocobos. And once we get the Chocobos, we're going to be getting to our lovely friend the Ochu. So I do hope you guys look forward to that. Please subscribe if you're new. Please leave a like and comment if you're returning. I have been doing so well and keeping all these daily episodes going, so it is not without hard work. So I hope you appreciate all the stream of content. I obviously love playing this game and love making content for you guys, so it's been an absolute pleasure. I've seen a big increase in like viewership and in like subscribers, so that really means the world to me. And so I'm gonna just stop talking and I'll see you next episode, guys. Have a good one. Thanks so much for everything, and yeah, talk to you soon. Bye bye.
I know that smell. I knew it. Hey, you! Are you kidding me? Oh! Quick! Quick, quick! Whoa! Quick! Quick, quick! Hey, what we got here? New friends, huh? Why don't you go say hi? You keep growing like that, you'll be bigger than me before long, won't you? Maybe it'd be best to just say goodbye here. Hey, oh! Come on! Jeez! Come on, I was just kidding. Yeah, I know. You're sticking with me till Dodge wakes up. Could be a long wait. No one knows. Oh. Quick, quick. Hey, what? Oh, wait, you watching me or something? Say something, or something. Wait.
Didn't want to interrupt. And, you know, I didn't quite know where to begin.
You don't have to begin anywhere. What happened to Dodge? Wasn't your fault.
But, Saz...
You got more than enough weight in your shoulders already. It was my fault at your day, letting Dodge out of my sight like that. That one's on me.
And you're just gonna deal with that on your own. Is that it?
I don't have to. I got this guy. And you? You got Vanille. You weren't alone. That kept you going, didn't it? Listen to me, trying to act all parenty.
Well, don't give up. You're getting the hang of it. Really.